Disclaimer: this man's libido is in healthy functioning levels. Further questioning on the matter is not required. Thank you.
Coming at you live from Skeleton City. It's been a minute since I did a new Q&A, and I have a backlog of probably 600 questions, so definitely won't get to all of them, but let's try and tackle as many as we can. No way did someone say that bro looks ripped. That's an absurd thing to say. Well, according to Google, ripped is low body fat, defined muscles, and vascularity. I mean, I think I hit all three of those categories, but of course your profile pic is a motorcycle, probably because you have a dad bod, so DM me a picture of you and I'll put it up, and if you're more ripped than me, then I'll take back what I said. I'm currently dealing with a foot injury and am on crutches, and thus forced to be quite sedentary while I rest up. Curious whether you think sugar diet approach would be a good idea in this context, aiming to lose 40 pounds, thanks. This is very relatable to me because since I started this channel, I've barely even been riding or running. I just haven't had any time. I'm constantly working on making new videos and responding to all of you guys. So I'm actually at a new all-time low, and I've done barely any cycling. I think I've rode for an hour this week. So yeah, tons of sedentary people that are doing this, and that's actually more of a reason on why you should cut the fat out of your diet. I gained 5 pounds just eating sugar and fruit, no protein, no fats. Why? What tier of the skeleton pyramid were you eating from? If you're in tier 1 and you're still gaining weight, what did you come from? Did you come from fasting or keto? Because you might need a few weeks to get your metabolism back in working order. If you're in tier 1 and you're still not losing weight, well, you need to look at what you're eating. Maybe you're having too many dates or bananas, or maybe you're just eating all day because you're bored. So yeah, make sure you're using the pyramid with the compass, your energy levels are good, and the scale's dropping. And if you're gaining weight, make sure you're still eating enough that you have good energy. Adjust some of the foods or adjust some of the volume just a little to tweak the scale and get it heading in the direction you want it to go. Do you mix fruits or do mono fruit? I'll try and not mix fruits. Like if I'm gonna eat oranges, I'll just try and eat, 5, 8 oranges, however many oranges I'm gonna eat. I'll try and just stick to eating just that and make that a meal, and then, whenever I'm ready to eat again, I'll choose a different type of fruit. But yeah, Google fruit combining. Basically, you don't want to combine certain fruits with each other. Melons always want to be eaten alone. Google fruit combining, and it'll give you an idea of which fruits digest the best with one another. How is your number 2? How many times a day? So like clockwork, it is once every morning, and then it varies, maybe another 1 or 2 throughout the day. Always 2 every day. Sometimes 3. I'm just repeating the comment about the format you do this in. It's unique and good quality. The way you power through the comments keeps it moving with good fluidity. Keep it up. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thoughts on blueberries? Frozen fruit? Yeah, I eat fresh blueberries and I also eat frozen blueberries. Somebody left a comment to me and said, isn't frozen fruit actually healthier since they wait to pick it until it's fully ripened on the vine and then immediately freeze it? So there's definitely nothing wrong with frozen fruit. It's a lot of times cheaper and more convenient. I just dump it in a bowl, let it sit there for an hour until it's thawed, and then pour sugar on it and eat it like that. Have you tried white rice with soy sauce, ground cayenne pepper, and sugar? It tastes amazing. I have not tried that, but it does sound good. When I bump back to tier 2, that'll be the first thing I try. I love your videos. Excited for them. The videos are not too long. Thanks. I try and shoot for that 20-minute sweet spot. Great work, man, and thank you for all your work on these videos. Don't let the haters get you down. I'm personally not after your look/size. I'm after the Brad Pitt Fight Club look, despite also being a cyclist, but I respect everyone's personal choice in how they look, especially if it's related to a healthy athletic endeavor. Not everyone should or even can be the same size as someone like Eric Bugenhagen. I hope I said that right. Yeah, man, and that's what I'm saying. I never ever told anybody, you have to get to this level of Skeleton City. If you don't want to look like me, that's why we have varying degrees of healthy body fat, healthy BMIs. You could stop 10, 20 pounds before I did, and you would still be just as healthy as I am. So yeah, I appreciate the support. And yeah, Brad Pitt Fight Club, that's a great look. Maybe after I'm done with Skeleton City, I'll try and go there. I had no idea that organic powdered Gatorade existed. I'm an ultra runner who usually goes with Tailwind, but I just ordered the organic strawberry Gatorade. Can't wait to try it. Yeah, I think only Amazon sells it, and sometimes it goes out of stock for months at a time. But yeah, I always try and buy organic products instead, and I actually think it tastes a lot better than regular Gatorade powder, so yeah, check it out. I've been eating a fruit-based raw vegan diet for 15 years. It is possible to be healthy and lose weight. No processed unhealthy sugar required. What makes processed sugar unhealthy, though? I mean, if you're getting enough vitamins and minerals from fresh fruit, then the rest of your energy can come from refined sugar, and there's nothing unhealthy about that. Is dextrose a good form of sugar to eat? Yeah, dextrose is fine. I get organic white sugar from Costco, and it's cheaper, and it's pure sucrose, so I would just stick with sucrose. Once again, a smart person. We are fortunate. Looking forward to learning more. Doing my best to contribute. Thank you. Salutations. How does sugar fasting differ from what fruitarian or raw vegans have been promoting for several decades? So in comparison to the Skella pyramid, basically tier 1 is going to be your sugar fasting, and how it differs from what fruitarians and raw vegans have done is that they basically stay in tier 1 forever, but they also don't cook any of their food, so they can't have refined sugar, anything that's been heated up or pasteurized, juices, the frozen juice concentrates I always have, they basically can only have fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. So that's one way it differs. And also with the pyramid, you can leave tier 1. You can go and eat other foods and then just hop back into tier 1, which is close to a fruitarian diet, and it's not as strict or purist, if that makes sense. Congrats for putting yourself out there. Your channel is very educational and inspiring. You are 10% body fat now. If you start eating a normal diet in calorie maintenance, will you gain some weight and body fat? Well, my plan when I'm done losing as much body fat as I can is to go to tier 3, which is just the maintenance zone. And no, I won't be gaining any body fat because I'm still going to be eating a relatively low-fat diet. And if I ever dip down into tier 4 and eat like a burger or something more indulgent, then I'll just hop back into tier 1 and lose whatever body fat I just put on and then go back to tier 3. So no, my plan is to stay in maintenance zone, which is still a low-fat diet, and I won't be gaining any weight. Everyone is so keto-pilled. Correct, and hopefully in the near future, the sugar diet blows up bigger than keto or carnivore ever was, and then everybody's sugar-pilled. Very inspiring. I want to do this for months on end as well. I just started and I'm saddled up and in it for the long haul. No starches here. If you do what I did, stay in tier 1 as long as you can, and the scale will just be dropping day after day. I'm getting full quicker. Is that normal? Might be normal for you. That's why you use the pyramid with your compass, and if your energy levels are good, and the scale's dropping and you're not on any caffeine, then you're getting quick as full as you need to get. Have you seen the sugar versus fat episode on BBC Horizon? It's interesting. I found it to watch on Daily Motion, but had already seen it on BBC in the past. Basically, twin doctors go on a high-carb, low-fat diet and a low-carb, high-fat diet, and they compare experiences. To me, high-carb, low-fat was the winner, but the program didn't frame it that way for some reason, even though the low-carb twin ended up pre-diabetic. I'm not surprised. The BBC or really any mainstream media, they want to keep us down. They don't want us on the sugar. They don't want us with any energy that we can resist and push back to whatever they want to make us all be doing. So I'm not surprised they framed it that way. And when this sugar thing blows up, they'll be coming after this again, and they'll be doing hit piece after hit piece on this too. What do you eat after long rides? When I'm on the long rides, I'm just drinking sugar water, and then when I come home, I just have more fruit, juice, and sugar. When you started this diet, did you have any issues with insulin resistance or blood sugar, feelings of hypoglycemia or anything like that? I did not, and I also didn't come from a low-carb diet, so I didn't have any like insulin resistance symptoms or anything like that. Are there certain foods that help digestion better than others? Well, one thing that's always going to help with digestion is staying hydrated and drinking your water before you eat your meal. The water is going to act like a lubricant for your digestive tracts and lube it all up, so when you send the food down, it's more of a smooth process for it to all go down. Also, things that'll help with digestion, I said it earlier, is proper food combining. Don't have a lot of protein or fat in a meal and then go eat a bunch of fruit. That'll help with digestion as well. Does all the sugar make it hard to sleep? No, complete opposite. Sugar lowers cortisol, and when I ate the perfect amount of sugar before bed, I sleep like a baby. As a female, I'd love to hear from your wife. I've been relaying the message to her. I know a ton of you guys have been saying that. Do you know any of the science behind why to avoid protein? You know, I honestly don't get into like the science behind anything, because to me, you can find science on why you should avoid protein, and then you'll just find another study on why you need protein. So I don't get caught up in the science, but my science is protein is anabolic, and since we're trying to be in a catabolic fat state and get rid of the fat, your body's trying to use either fat or carbs as energy. It doesn't really like to use protein as energy. It uses protein to build. So basically, there's just no good place for the protein to be while we're trying to work on losing fat, if that makes sense. Other than your wife, have you been able to influence family/friends into eating the sugar diet? My family and friends think I'm crazy, LOL. Honestly, I've told a bunch of people, like I used to shout from the mountaintops, like, do this, you know? And some people take my advice a little bit or whatever, but I have a similar situation to you. Most people think I'm crazy, so I really just don't even go there. And now that I started this channel, like, I will never probably tell anybody in person ever again. Like, all I do is constantly like preach it on here now. So I don't even have any extra bandwidth to even go out and try and like tell my personal friends and family about it. Now, if they really want to find out about it or hear about it, check out my channel and you can make your own hypothesis or your own conclusion from what I say there and, you know, the comment section really of everybody showing how successful the diet's been for them. I love the longer videos. I listen while on the treadmill. Good to know. Thank you. You should do a DEXA scan. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. From what I've learned is that the DEXA scan isn't actually that accurate, and really only getting an MRI is what's going to tell you, like, with 100% accuracy what body fat percentage you have. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard in the past. Hot off the press, guys. Get your officially licensed Cole Robinson Snake Diet t-shirts now. Hey Fatty on the front, Anthony, plants are trying to kill ya, Chafee on the back.
Plants are trying to kill ya!
Let the world know that you're not part of the fat acceptance movement and you take a stand against dad bods around the world. Get yours now at skeletondiet.com. While you're there, consider picking up a Live from Skeleton City shirt or hat as well. Thanks for the support and back to the show. Could you do longer lives? Yeah, that'd be fun to do a live. I haven't done one yet, but I'll look into doing one. I also experienced the crash after consuming carb-heavy meals. This has always been the case. To be fair, I had fat and protein the night before, so maybe that played a role. Yeah, it wasn't a question, but you basically answered that with, if you ate a super heavy meal the night before, you'll definitely feel it the next morning or even the next day. I crave starch and salt. Well, that's why we have the pyramid, so maybe you can just dip down from tier 1 to tier 2 a couple times a week. And if the scale's still dropping for you, then we know that still works for you and that'll be a more sustainable route for you. I hope you don't lose any more weight. You are already skeleton. Yeah, I probably won't be losing much more. I did want to see if I could hit 129 just to see for personal science, but yeah, I don't know if I'll get there or not. But I'm feeling great and very healthy currently. Do you count your calories? No, I don't, and you don't need to. Use the pyramid and use your compass, which is your energy level, plus if the scale's dropping. If you have great energy and the scale's dropping, then you'll never need to count calories ever again. What kind of exercise/workouts did you do? And frequency? I pretty much just did cardio and light calisthenics. I would race on Zwift every other day as hard as I could, usually like a 30 to 60 minute race, and then I would take a rest day in between. So basically cardio every other day, 30 to 60 minutes, like face melting as hard as I could, and then rest days in between. I've experienced weight gain doing this so far. Does this change after sticking it to a while? Depends on what you came from. If you came from fasting or keto, it could take a few weeks for your body to sort itself out, but I'd also need to know what tier you're eating from. If you're having too many tier 2 or 3 meals, you might need to bump it up to tier 1 exclusively. I thought the A word was a mental disorder, not a look. You look great. I'm also a woman, so have that, haters. It's funny, I've never been called the A word before until I started this channel, and I Googled that definition, and yeah, it's basically a way of thinking. So you could actually be like 200 pounds and be an A word. So everybody that's saying that to me, like if you don't know me and how I am, which you can kind of get like a pretty good idea from watching these videos, that's not my way of thinking. That's not how I operate mentally. So yeah, thank you for the support. Just discovered you today. Well done. Great format. Love the way you answer the questions with patience. Subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. Do you think anyone who goes on sugar, fruit, and juice will get to Skeleton City? I mean, even a skinny person. Eat until full, even if it's a lot of fruit daily. Don't you get stalled at some point? There are fruitarians who are skinny, but not skinny as you. What are you doing differently in your opinion? I just really inspired to get to your level for running performance. I am already too skinny for most people, but to get to your level, I will improve my times by a lot. Kind of like what I was saying earlier, fruitarians avoid refined sugar. So maybe having that refined sugar, because our goal here is to keep the fat and protein as low as possible. There's still some amount of fat and protein in a banana or a tomato or whatever, you know? So maybe because fruitarians are only eating fresh fruits and vegetables, they don't ever get that refined sugar source that's truly zero fat and zero protein. So maybe it has something to do with that I eat a lot of refined sugar and that's how I got skinnier than a fruitarian. Or maybe it's because a lot of the fruitarians, probably because they don't have refined sugar, I'm just generalizing here, but I feel like most of the time they don't really have any fitness. I know there are some, so don't come after me, but I feel like most fruitarians are kind of just like, you know, sort of space cadet-y, like they're just like sitting under a tree eating mangoes all day. So maybe because I actually like strive to have a high VO2 max, maybe that's why I got to that next level lean that the fruitarians usually don't get to. Skeleton City Live. Love it. Coming at you live. 3 weeks, lost 9 kilograms, 4 to 10 kilometers of walking every day, sprints twice a week, orange juice with honey, sometimes jelly and water, 2 to 4 liters daily. Yeah, good work. And that's kind of what I just said about the Fruitarians, you know? You're having refined products and you're raising your VO2 max and you're getting great results. So that could be it. Can we do fruits in the morning, then have a little bit of rice, lean fish, and veg for lunch, and then fruits again for dinner? I find I can eat less for dinner but need more for lunch. If you're using the pyramid with your compass and your energy's good and the scale's dropping, then you can do whatever you want. Me personally, from a food combining standpoint, I probably wouldn't feel as good having that heavier meal for lunch and then going back to fast digesting fruits for dinner. But you know, if it works for you, keep on doing it. If you see this, let me know in the comments how it's going. What's your BMI? I have somewhere in the 18 range of BMI, but I don't even like BMI because it doesn't take into consideration your genetics, your hydration, your muscle glycogen, your bone density, a bunch of things. So to me, BMI is like a roundabout number. It's more of like a rough estimate at best. Do you have any cravings outside of the sugar diet, especially in the colder months when people like to eat more comfort food? I guess you would like to eat more cooked starch and maybe less fruit. I'm trying to stay in Skeleton City for a long time and not only for the summer. I personally don't have any cravings, but if that's what you need to get through the winter months, you know, dip down into a tier 2 meal for dinner and have some warm starches or whatever. If that works for you and the scale's still dropping, then do that if it'll make it more sustainable. Love your videos. They are super helpful. I'm on day 3 of the sugar fast. Good job. Keep it up. What kind of calories are you getting on training days versus non-training days? And as you lost weight, did you find yourself eating less and less? I don't count calories, so I just eat to have good energy all day. For the most part, usually on rest days, I will eat less, but sometimes it can be the opposite. Sometimes on rest days, I'll eat a lot. So it really just varies day to day. And as I lost weight, I definitely noticed I would eat less volume of food, like all the way down. Like before, I used to eat from a huge bowl and then that bowl would just get filled less and less and less. So as you're getting lighter, you're not burning as many calories just existing. So yeah, your appetite will definitely decrease as you lose weight, and I found that to be true when I lost weight. You look like a combination of John Wick and Bruce Lee, which is awesome. Any specific recommendations for doing the extended sugar fast for beginners who have 40 plus pounds to lose? Fruit juice plus wet fruit is what I've heard so far. Yeah, that's exactly it. Fruit, juice, sugar. I've been messing around with eating a lot of syrup lately. And it's so sweet when you have it, but that's actually been making the scale drop for me. So maybe try to add some syrup in there or some jam as well. But yes, that's a good place to start for sure. 2 questions. Did your diet change once you've reached your goal and decided to stop losing weight? Did you add some starch, protein, small amounts of fat? 2, how did you survive winter while on this diet? Or maybe you live in a place with no winter. I see palms in background of your photos. So I'm still not at my goal weight. I mean, I am at my goal weight, but I'm still seeing if I could lose a little bit more body fat. So I'm not quite there yet, but I do plan to go straight tier 3 and just go to maintenance mode, which is adding in some low fat and low protein. How did I survive the winter? Actually, where I live, it gets down to the high 20s in the winter. So it's still very, very cold. I was pretty determined to lose weight as fast as possible. So I didn't really care about, having warm meals. But again, some people that do, they can always do that. As long as the scale's still dropping, they could add in a few cooked starch meals throughout the week. Okay, I'd like your opinion on my lowest sustained weight I can reach in Shred City. I'm 6'5" and 198 pounds. Slim build guy, but get lots of stomach fat. How low in pounds can I get to? I mean, that's going to vary depending on person to person. At your height, I would shoot for 160, maybe 165, and see how you feel from there. You might be able to get even skinnier than that, but for you and your absolute lowest, a good starting point would be around 165 pounds, and then see how you feel and go from there. What is happening here? Are you really promoting an awful diet to achieve a famine body? Hey, just like the last person said, some of us want that Ethiopian chic look, and there's nothing wrong with that. How quick did you notice an energy increase? Also, have you had blood work done just to see where you're at? I noticed an energy increase immediately, day 1. And as far as blood work, I have not had that done, but if I do, I will definitely share the results with all you guys. Respect to anyone that decides to do something different, and to heck what people think. Do you train with a power meter? For 20 years, I was a competitive cyclist, and my diet was mostly carbs. I'm 6'2" and was under 12 12 stones. At the age of 45, I decided to bulk up and ate a lot more and lifted weights. I started to do quite a lot more cycling in recent times, and on Saturday I have my first 10-mile TT for 3 years. For sure the extra muscle isn't going to make me any faster on the bike, and I'll be a lot slower than I was. You have the perfect physique for a cyclist. Not sure how you feel so good with no fat or protein, but you clearly do, so fair play to you, mate. Thanks, I appreciate that. And yeah, you know, a lot of people are like, why don't you put on muscle? Why don't you do this? It's like, just like you said, like muscle, when you're racing a bicycle up a hill, having 5 to 10 extra pounds of muscle is not going to help you. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And this is the physique of a lot of cyclists. It's just people aren't really used to that, so. I've been sober for almost 4 years now. By the way, my weight loss has stalled, and I think it's because of the starch, so gotta replace it with more fruit, etc. I gotta give this diet more time before I knock it. Take care, dude. Thank you, and congrats on your sobriety. Yeah, and as far as the starch, upgrade to tier 1, cut the starch out, and see if that gets the scale moving down again. What about inflammation? High insulin levels are associated with high blood glucose levels, and high insulin is associated with inflammatory markers. There's no inflammation because there's no fat causing insulin resistance, so high insulin levels is not an issue with this diet. What's your plan now that you're so lean? Are you going to start adding in meat at night to put on some muscle? Kind of like one of the last answers, I'm not planning on adding any more muscle yet. The sugar diet got people looking like crackheads. Thanks for the before and after pic. Now I know not to take this route. Whole foods it is. Well, assuming that you're fat and you're trying to lose weight, why not just stick on the crackhead diet? But just stop before you look like a crackhead like me, and then carry on with your whole foods. Wouldn't that make more sense? Use this to lose a lot of weight, but just stop earlier? I mean, that would make the most sense to me. Vegetables. Do you eat raw or cooked? For the most part, cooked, but I do have a raw salad for dinner. Why bananas are hardly mentioned when asked what fruits to eat? Bananas have a little more starch than the other fruits, and I do eat bananas, it's just not something I eat a ton of. But hey, if bananas work for you and the scale's dropping, then keep eating the bananas. What can I put grape jelly on to eat? I just eat it straight out of the jar, or I'll put it on apples too, that's pretty good. Did you bike ride before your weight loss? Yes, I did, and I was riding up to 18 hours a week before losing weight, and I was actually shocked I was gaining weight riding that much. So you cannot outtrain a bad diet, and I am 100% living proof of that. I noticed you stopped talking about eating candy and switched to fruits and vegetables. I just had some lemon drops earlier today. I'm not opposed to candy. I mean, I was just drinking syrup directly out of the bottle, and it was like trashy syrup. It wasn't even like, I have some organic maple syrup from Costco, but I found some syrup at the back of my fridge. It was like the trashiest high fructose corn syrup, like not healthy syrup at all. And I just drank that straight out of the bottle before I came in here. So, I mean, that's basically candy. Love, love, love the new name of your account. Now market some shirts and hats. A skeleton eating fruit and drinking sugar water. That will make you big dollars. B-Rad, thank you again. I did what he said. SkeletonDiet.com if you guys want to check out some shirts. And thanks again for all the great suggestions. Has your weight leveled off? It has kind of been stalling for a minute, but I literally just tweaked some things in my diet, and I think I might hit an all-time low in the next few days, but I'll keep you guys posted. Seeing the success from both camps, low fat, high carb, or low carb, high fat, beginning to think that either have the ability to lose significant weight and you don't judge one way or the other. I do more of a keto diet, but could easily be tempted if I could gorge on Halloween candy. So the last point you made, I don't think any of us are like tempted to gorge on like chugging a glass of olive oil, but the keto people are always like tempted by the sugar. So to me, that kind of answers the question right there. You seem like a really cool guy. You remind me of Keanu Reeves in his heyday, but better and without all his weirdness. I would like to hear your wife's perspective on her journey, but I understand that a bunch of strangers on YouTube can be a lot to some people. Have a good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Skeleton City. Thank you. I will relay the message to her. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. This might be the most questions I've ever answered in a Q&A, so keep the questions coming, and I'll do my best to keep answering them. And until next time, my friends, stay bony.